Any ads heard during this episode that are not in our voice are placed by third-party agencies. They should not be considered the opinion of or to be endorsed by Hoosier Myths and Legends.
Welcome back to the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast. I'm Rebecca Wilhelm.
And I'm Mary Quigley. Today we're doing another episode of On the Road, where we share legends and hauntings from all 50 states.
That's right. And today we're heading way out of Indiana, like way out. Pack your coat and a good cup of coffee because we're going to the wilds of Alaska.
This is the story of Portlock, Alaska, a town so haunted, so terrifying, that one day its entire population picked up and vanished. Today, it sits abandoned. Empty houses, overgrown trails, and a thick, lingering feeling that something is still there.
Let's start with a little background. Portlock, or Port Chatham, depending on who you ask, sits at the southern edge of Alaska's Kenai Peninsula. Its story begins around 1786 when Captain Nathaniel Portlock of the British Royal Navy passed through the area.
Captain Portlock loved the area and thought it was a great location to start a town, which is how the town took his name.
The town didn't see much growth until the 1800s, early 1900s, when a salmon cannery was built. It quickly became home to Russian settlers and Alaska natives due to the strong fishing industry.
There was a post office, a school, a sawmill, all the basic things you need to live. This was the wilds of Alaska, though, so life was hard, but people were making it work. But those who lived there couldn't shake the feeling that something was off.
As far back as the 1900s, people in Portlock started disappearing. Hunters would go into the forest and never return. Some bodies were found mutilated in ways that didn't make sense. Others were simply gone. Their bodies were never found.
By the 1940s, the stories became more intense. Locals started whispering about a creature in the woods. They said it was big, hairy, and walking on two legs. Some even found giant footprints that were 18 inches long, with a stride that no human could match.
Now, others claimed to see a dark, man-like creature watching from the trees. One witness said it had red eyes that glowed in the dark, but that's not even the creepiest part.
The Alutiiq people who've lived in that region for centuries already had a name for this mysterious creature. They called it the Nantiinaq, but for them, it wasn't just a beast.
Not at all. Think Bigfoot meets Wendigo situation. Not an animal, but something evil.
Yes, their legends warned of this creature, saying that the Nantiinaq was a large hairy beast that lived in the mountains and would stalk you for days until it made its move to kill you.
One story was of a logger who forgot something at his work site. He decided to go back and grab it before heading home for the day. The next morning, he was found crushed by a piece of logging equipment. The problem was the man was found far away from where the equipment was left at the end of the day. It was so heavy, it would have taken several men to move.
Then how did it get there?
That's the question. The man was alone, so how in the world would that equipment move that far?
Another story was of a hunter's body that was discovered in the river, dismembered and mangled, as though he was attacked by something with enormous strength. Now, this sounds like it could just be an animal attack, because there are a lot of animals in Alaska.
Why do they think it wasn't a wild animal?
Because his tools and traps were smashed, and his tent was torn to shreds. The animal wouldn't have gone back to his campsite with how far away it was from where the body was found.
So even the dogs were scared. They refused to go in the woods or barked at things no one could see. People started locking their doors during the day. Then they just started leaving altogether.
By 1950, the fear had reached a tipping point, and the entire community packed up and left.
And in 1951, the post office closed, officially marking the end of Portlock. The town has been abandoned ever since.
So, what happened? Was it all paranoia, bears, accidents?
So skeptics argue that the disappearances could be explained by the harsh Alaskan wilderness. Hypothermia, bear attacks, accidents, and rough terrain all make sense. It's easy to get lost out there, and Alaska has more than its share of dangers.
But others, especially those who grew up hearing the stories or had relatives from the town, say it wasn't nature, it was something unnatural. It didn't just scare people, it hunted them.
Even today, locals in nearby areas, they refuse to step foot in Portlock. Hunters steer clear. Bush pilots avoid flying over it. Those who have dared to explore the ruins often return with eerie stories, like hearing footsteps, the feeling of being watched, or even hearing guttural growls echoing in the night.
One modern expedition team set up trail cameras and audio equipment in the area. They caught strange howls and claimed their equipment was tampered with. They also heard heavy footsteps circling their camp at night. They left the site terrified and convinced that something was out there.
You couldn't pay me to camp there.
Yeah, me neither.
So if you're ever feeling adventurous and find yourself in the remote corners of Alaska, maybe think twice before wandering into Portlock. The town may be empty, but something might still be watching.
Whether you believe it was a supernatural beast or an ancient spirit or just the cold Alaskan wilderness, one thing's for sure. Something drove the people of Portlock away.
And that something has made Portlock one of the eeriest, most chilling ghost towns in the world.
Have you ever had an experience with the beast in Portlock, Alaska? Are you familiar with the experiences there? We would love to hear about it. Please send us an email to HoosierMythsandLegends@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. We may use it in a later episode. In the email, let us know if you wish to remain anonymous.
To see our source material, please visit our website, HoosierMythsandLegends.com. Hoosier Myths and Legends is a Quigley Productions podcast.
Our theme song was written and recorded by Wet Blanket. The song title is Taxidermy Race Car.
As always, stay spooky.